All right, guys, so here is my little bit thorough breakdown of the Temptu Air machine that I am using with the brand new AirPod Pros. Now, these allow you to put entirely whatever color product or custom make product. So I wanted to take this already beauty makeup that I did here on my model Haley and just elevate it to a little bit more of an editorial look and show you that you can do this with this Temptu Air machine by using the amazing airbrush techniques that are out there that I teach, that lots of other professional airbrush artists teach, so that you can create these more elevated editorial looks. If the job calls for it, or if you just want to do it for fun, you want to do it for events, for Halloween, for photo shoots, you name it, you want to step up your Alex Box game, like, here you go. So what I am using is the new AirPod Pro with a Temptu SB color that I already had, a Temptu collection of colors, and it's this really beautiful light baby blue that I custom mixed prior. And you can see that I'm just very carefully and with playful technique, doing a back and forth dagger motion. This is something that I teach in all my workshops, and this will allow you to create beautiful highlights and contours and to really gradiate the color from a thicker spot down to a tapered point. And that's exactly what a dagger does. So that way we don't get a spiral circular effect happening all over the face. We're actually placing the color exactly where we want to do it, the exact same way that we do with traditional sponges and brushes. It is the same technique. This is just a little bit different for your hand to get used to, but I swear to you, a beginner can learn it in the same day. So it's a really great technique. Here I'm just using dots to create a little bit of blue halo effect on the center of her eye. And all I did here was go around the orbital of her face, following the natural contours of her face and buffing that in with a baby blue. And so you can see here, Haley's checking it out. She loves it. She was saying how much she loves this color. It's a really gorgeous color. Always have a towel handy here, so I'm checking my color. I'm making sure I'm switching through in between colors. Since I do only have one of these AirPod Pros, I have to clean the color out and put a new color in, and you simply do that with whatever formula is the base of that product. So in this case, I use the Makeup Forever Airbrush Thinner to clean out the silicone-based Temptu color. My next step is I'm adding from their beautiful blush collection, Tourmaline Pink, number 059. And I'm just adding that to the hollows of the shapes that I've already created. I'm doing obviously a more exaggerated blush effect. God, I don't know how many people actually wear blush this intense, or this big. But all I'm doing is filling it into the inside halos of the blue that I already created around her face. And you can see, again, I'm using soft dagger movements. And if you imagine what a dagger of a sword looks like, it goes from thick to thin, that's the movement that I'm using. So I'm not doing circles, I'm not creating a pattern that I can't break out of. I'm simply just using a soft stroke effect the exact same way that I do when I apply blush with my powder brush or with a sponge. Here I'm contouring the inside of her nose, so again I'm doing swooping. You see those really smooth, soft baby movements that I'm doing and just dragging that color out so that I get a nice point at the tip of the color and not a big blob of color. This comes with just control and practice, something that I will definitely be showing you in the future, so just stay tuned. And here I'm just kind of building up the color and stepping back and looking and seeing if I like that color, if I like how much there is, maybe I want a little more. And so I'm just kind of bumping that up and adding more so I can get a fun here we can see Haley is just kind of loving where this is going. Next, you can see is my darker contour color that I'm using. So this is a really rich seafoam green that I've just added into the AirPod Pro. Super simple. You just drop some drops down in the top, pop the lid back on, and get to spraying. And so here I'm doing, I am using a softer PSI. So I've turned the button down on the Temptu Air so I get a little bit of a softer breeze instead of a stronger breeze. And again, I'm just using my dagger techniques to create and exemplify the contours of her face that I just want to bring out a little bit more. This is not a look that we planned. We really just kind of, you know, let this blossom as the paint was coming out of the machine and just played with where it was going. We know how to contour, we know how to highlight. We're just doing it in color. That's the only difference. We're just kind of bumping it up with some richer colors to just really show you the versatility that you can get with this Temptu Air. It is just so much fun and oh my god, effortless because there is no cords and it's very easy to just pop that little pod system right on top, add some color in the little lid at the top, and you're good to go. I would probably do this on, you know, a job that I had a little more time to play with it, and maybe it was something last minute that they wanted to add. If it was for an actual body paint or something a little bit more elaborate, I might probably use my full airbrush system just so I can change color a little bit easier. But if I had a ton of these AirPod Pros, it might be a hell of a lot easier than getting a bunch of different expensive airbrush guns. So it's really fun to kind of see where this is going. You can see how I can get such amazing structure in the hollows of her cheek and around her jawline, and just the beautiful tapers that they go to, because you can do dagger point technique with this. It's so cool. I'm blown away that I'm able to do this. This was my first time really playing with it with bright, bold colors because, of course, with the Temptu AirPods, they were all just foundations before. So now I can actually take this to the next step and start doing full editorial looks or face paints or monster creations or awesome fantasy characters. It's really just endless. This is the next step where I'm using a highlight color called Amber Nude. And this is beautiful. Oh, I just loved it. I mean, it just turned her into a goddess the moment that I started hitting all her high points with an exaggerated amount of highlight. Again, I don't know. I know highlight's the big new thing right now and everyone's wearing it. God, I hope they don't wear this much out in public. But you can see just building and building and just respecting the anatomy of the face. Oh, I just love how beautiful the colors glow on her face, and it's so smooth and spot free. There was no speckling. It just worked so well. Here I wanted to take this into the hair, so I am blowing that same dark seafoam green color as a base, since I am going to use a stencil. And it's really important when you work with a stencil, you think in reverse. So when you're looking at your stencil, you say, what color do I want my stencil to be? I want it to be gold. Okay, it needs a base color first, unless you want the blonde of her hair to be the base color. Obviously, if I put gold on top of blonde hair, it's not gonna pop. So I use the dark seafoam green just to get a very soft base. And you can see I'm just really lightly blowing that on there. And here I wanted you to see how quick I can pop color into there. So I am using a traditional pod here. I'm using the gold highlighter. And I'm just popping that sucker on. I wanted it a little bit darker bronzy gold. And then I'm laying the stencil down. And then I'm completely saturating over the entire stencil. That was me checking to make sure my airflow was happening. And I am saturating the entire stencil on the outer edges. So there's a really nice solid outline of this beautiful lace stencil. and then going into all the little nooks and cranny of the stencil. Since this is obviously a fabric stencil, there's a lot more delicate little holes and textures that I need to get into. And then once I peel that off, you can see that beautiful halo of a gold beaming through because it has that green base to it. You could do black, you could do just anything dark really. Obviously I'm doing green because it complements that gold. And here is the beautiful finished look. I'm so happy with how it came out, and I hope you guys start to play with these AirPod Pros because they are so much fun, and I'm just in love with this Temptu Air machine. It's so great and versatile and fast.